Turn that down. Yo, what the hell is that? Something ain't right. Yeah, something ain't right. I don't know what's going on. Hang on, Buffalo Soldier, because the Buffalo Soldiers are going to space. Buffalo Soldier. Where's my stuff at? I don't see nothing. How come everything is blank? I don't know. We'll give it a minute, see what happens. Good morning, everybody. I want to talk about Guardians of the Idiocracy. Oh, there you go. Who is that? Hillary. There you go. It's working. This thing does weird stuff. You never know if you're going to be live any day, because they always playing with stuff. They got to control the narrative. That's kind of interesting. I'm going to talk about Guardians of the Idiocracy. Let me get set up. Good morning, everybody. We're going to talk about, disclaimer. Yeah, we got to put a disclaimer on this one. There will be alien discussion in this discussion. So if you are alone in your own little narcissistic head, if you are sociopathically the assault of the universe and nothing else out there could be nearly as intelligent as you while you're murdering babies, your governments, then you probably don't want to watch this. Because we're going to touch on the aliens a little bit. We got to talk about Space Force today. I want to talk about Guardians of the Idiocracy. Somebody asked me a question. Which I don't know why people ask me stuff, because I don't know anything. I try to process information and see what makes sense. Ask me, is Space Force a counter-terrorist unit? I had to process that. And that led me to looking into the retired general that gave that speech. We posted that a long time ago, trying to get everyone on board with the whole Space Force narrative, and a beautiful thing happened. That was one day at band camp. One day at band camp, a beautiful thing happened. U.S. General admitted free energy is real. He basically admitted they got free energy, but the TR-3B patent told you that. He also admitted to a lot of geopolitical interesting things of conspiracy, and he was forced into saying things I don't think that the Rotherica United States Incorporation wanted to say, because China went to the moon. So it got everybody to hate China. So I'm gonna look at that. Is Space Force a counter-terrorist unit? I think the answer is yes. Based on everything I've seen, I think it's an $11 trillion counter-terrorist unit that they've been developing since Ronald Reagan. And then people say, there was no terrorists back with Ronald Reagan. You have no idea the terrorists I'm talking about. You're talking about the wrong terrorism. There's a lot of terrorism that happens on this planet. It's been happening since a long time ago. Right? What was it? What were we talking about this week? We were talking Hawaii. Who did that? Diana's partially her fault. Diana Dollar. Hang on, let me share the video because I'm off running my mouth before we even get into it. Share the video about the star people. And as soon as you say star people, the first thing that comes to mind, I'm like, yeah, the Hopi Indians, they talked about the star people. No. This is actually the traditional Hawaii. The ancients on Hawaii, they all saw something. They called them the bird people. No, they called them the star people. And then you have the Rapa Nui in Easter Island, and they saw people coming out the sky too. And that led me to a quote from Linda Moulton Howe. It's important to understand that people all over this planet have always seen people come out of the sky. And I think there's nothing more interesting to discuss than people coming out the damn sky, starting religions. Because you know what the star people told the Hawaiians? They said, we'll never leave nor forsake you. To a degree, different words, same meaning. We'll never leave nor forsake you. Does that sound familiar to anybody? I think something's been happening on this planet since the beginning of time. And it's the same terrorism that's happening today. And I think that actually is what Space Force is mostly about. So I want to talk about that. And then who was it? Linda Moulton Howe. She had a great quote. When I was looking into all the ancient cultures that mention the people who came out of the sky. The ones that weren't that interested in us. It's not that they don't exist. It's just you're not that interesting. And that hurts a lot of people's feelings, but it's just the real thing. She said extraterrestrial groups have been terraforming and harvesting genetic material here for 270 million years. Linda Moulton Howe said that, and I think she was right. And I think that she was trying to open up people to the reality that you got some terrorists, never the ones your government tells you, never them. It's never the poor people who just got farms who want to grow some food. They're not the terrorists the Space Force is for. But I think there's a whole lot to it. It's just not aliens and geopolitical. It's just not watchers. I don't think the watchers left. Like this whole, see the whole leave and forsake thing, I think that people got it wrong. I don't think it's about you. I know you want it to be about you. I want it to be about me too. Like as a kid, because I was the salt of the earth, y'all. I was the salt of the earth, and it was supposed to always be about me. But I think the whole leave nor forsake you thing, I think it's a species type thing. This is more of a plausible discussion, people. This is not a I know anything. I'm just kind of talking through some things. I think it was a species-wide, we'll never leave nor forsake you. You get in trouble, we'll come back. And a lot of people with a lot of interesting points that also speak to that, not just the religions and the Rapa Nui and the ancient Hawaiians. The Egyptians also said that, right? They said the world gets wiped out and we have just enough to come back. Admiral Byrd says that you got these people who live in the hollow earth who come out and help us out. Maybe they're in there, maybe they're not, I don't know. Maybe there's a Stargate down there on another planet, different dimension. I don't know, who knows? But this has been said many times, the classified Adam and Eve document. I try to stitch all this stuff together in a way that makes sense from an economic and geopolitical perspective. And so the Adam and Eve story, what was that about? Well, the classified one, it was about a pole shift and everybody died and then we came back. Right? It was a rediscovery. It wasn't an Eden and creation, but a rediscovery. And we always have help. So I think the leave nor forsake you was more a species thing. Because, we asked that question, well, where are the aliens if they love us? How come they're not helping us? Where's God? Where is this? Why would he let babies do this? God is a psychopath, all this stuff. I just think it's not what we think it is. And species-wide, they will never leave nor let us go extinct. But they'll forsake the hell out of you. They're forsaking me. They're forsaking Yemen. They're forsaking the trailer park, forsaking the ghetto. They're forsaking everything. They're forsaking all kind of people. But if we are a genetic experiment, then yeah, they won't let us go extinct, because if they're coming back or some are harvesting genetics, DNA and terraforming, then you can't let the species, the monkey that you transformed, gave 98% monkey DNA to and 2% of your DNA, you can't let it go extinct. So yeah, I think the leave nor forsake you is not well understood. But I want to talk about Space Force. I want to go into this general speech. Let me flip this around. Good morning, everybody. Did they find that, was it? Yeah, $12 trillion. Did they find that yet? The pocket lint, the Pentagon had $12 trillion and they went to Walmart one day and they lost it one way on their road to developing anti-gravitic devices from Tesla Technology, from the documents they stole and what they created a long time ago, and possibly crashed alien craft. They developed levitation devices and didn't tell anybody. And to me, my perspective is always free energy. If you are a government and you are hiding free energy, there is nothing decent about it. There's nothing humane. There's nothing. When people die, millions of people die on this planet from lack of energy, and you hide it. You are a criminal. You're a psychopath. You're a murderess. And how does all that work? Well, the government's not a person. It's not even a collection of people. The government is a system. So, and the people in the government aren't really even aware of what goes on. Right? Even the general said it in the speech we're going to look at real quick. There are 12 levels of security over the top of the president's head. So, but you know what? And this is what gets me. A lot of things get me. What I don't understand, why are you voting for a president who's not even allowed to know the level of technology that we have? How does that make any sense? And stressing the word we. We have. If you're a president, if there are 12 levels of security over top of your head, lead, commander, chief, man in charge, HNCIC or HCNIC, that man, if he is in charge of everything, how come there are 12 levels of security above his head that he's not even allowed to know? It's because your president's not in control. Your president's not in charge. Your government's not even in charge. Somebody's in charge, and it's more of a geopolitical thing than anything else. So I want to jump into this real quick because it actually is a long speech, and I'm not showing all of it. I'm going to show you There are about 5 or 6 blibbits in the speech I want to go into. This is my theory. People ask me the question, or a person asked me that question, is Space Force a counter-terrorist unit? I think it is. I think it is. And I don't know why people ask me this stuff, but sometimes I think that there are people inside of these projects and they're trying to drive stuff forward, like Lyndon Moulton Howe. I love her to death. I think she's got it all wrong about the cats. I think she's a little too close to them cats, and them cats one day might kill her. But I think she's right. If you have the ability to talk to people, there are people inside of these black budget projects that know that we shouldn't be doing this. There are people inside of DARPA who know we shouldn't be hiding this. There are people who are trying to drive things forward, and they release information. I don't know if this person asked me this question and not to do that, but I think that they're on to something. I think that there have always been someone terraforming on this planet. We have ancient archaeology and evidence of that, not only in the scrolls and the stone, but actually in the geology. We know things on this planet don't make any damn sense, and we didn't do it as cavemen and grass skirts. But if we're being harvested for let me ask you this question. If a terrorist is planning an attack on your country, would your government tell you? I ask myself this question all the time. I ask and let's leave a in the name of the terrorist. Don't worry about the terrorist name. For those of y'all who believe ISIS is a terrorist, then y'all can talk about them. If there was a pending attack on your country, would your government tell you? I can tell you about my government. My government wouldn't tell me. Hell no, they wouldn't tell me. It's not that they don't care about me, they don't like me. It's just not their job. They like to keep things secret until it's too late. They like to keep things secret till it's too late or until they can do something about it. So even if there are aliens abducting people and harvesting DNA and terraforming, I can promise you the American government ain't gonna tell you. They're not gonna tell you. In the news, they're not gonna tell you neither, because they work with the American government for this whole Rothschild worldwide bank empire. They're not gonna tell you. So you can't look at them as means of evidence, right? They're not even a data point in the discussion, right? Because that's what people say, well, we got free energy and else. How come it isn't on the news? Because the news isn't designed to free you. And your government is either. From an economic perspective, they need you working. They don't even hide that anymore. The Brookings report said that. When they went to the moon, and people said, they didn't go to the moon. Okay, just pretend they went to the moon, and if you don't believe that. When they pretended to go to the moon or whatever, they said if you find any evidence of alien life or ancient archaeology, anything on the moon, you can't tell the people. Why? Because they won't pay their taxes, and they're right. They won't go to church, and they're right. They won't pay their tithe to the #1 real estate owner on the planet, the Catholic Church. But they're right. Civilization would break down if people thought that something was out there. Because most people don't have the capacity intellectually to accept that. That's not even within their reality. Their government's in control and keeping them safe. And that's part of the role of government as a nanny, is to convince you to just go to work, pay your taxes, be a happy slave, clap happy slave, pick your cotton, pay your taxes, and keep moving forward. And I think that's the only reason they've become desperate. The only reason the fools in Washington have become desperate is China sent a jade rabbit to the dark side of the moon. I think it was Jade Rabbit. And all of a sudden now we're being almost begged for our fear, right? We're being begged to be scared of China. We're being begged to be scared of Russia. Most of my friends, we kind of laugh at it. It's actually kind of funny. It's kind of funny to be scared of Russians, and I got, politicians 800 feet away that scare the hell out of me. I'm not scared of Russians, but you taking my rights, I got an issue with that. You poisoning my water, my food, my oxygen, so I'm not scared of no Russians or Chinese, but we're being begged for it. Let's go into the speech real quick, because this was highly important. Got to read between the lines, and this was at Hillsdale College. And this is how I think you process your world. You don't look at the news, and you don't listen to your politicians. They're designed to keep you working. That's the only way they collect us, for good or bad. And I think he kind of lays the case out. It's all economics, right? If most people know they don't have to be slaves, they're not going to be slaves. If most people don't have to go be accountants, they're not going to be accountants, which means that government's not building up what it needs to make the weapons that it does and the technologies that it has to keep that global geopolitical power. fighting to become the lead slave nation for the Rothschild Empire. And that's all I think the nations are doing. And I think he lays it out pretty well. So we're going to jump into a little bit of this speech. Oh, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry. I get excited. How's everybody doing this morning? All right. Everybody's good. Any pressing questions? All right. This is what I think it's all about. I think it is always about money, power, and control. We live in an ecosystem, people. You're only alone in your own little narcissistic head. You're not the salt of the earth, but you're the salt of your own little body. Your universe, Y-O-U, universe. But we live in an ecosystem. There's a lot out there that they don't tell you about because it'll scare the hell out of you, right? One other thing I was going to say on that is that whole quote by Linda Moulton Howe that extraterrestrials have been terraforming on this planet and harvesting genetics for 270 million years. As crazy as that might sound to some of you who are perhaps just starting to open your mind, just consider the bears are saying that about us. Just consider the monkeys are saying that about us. Just consider the kangaroos and the wallabies and pretty much every species on this planet keeps saying something that I can't really see and I don't know where it comes, but it comes from a higher place and it comes over here out of helicopters and it grabs us, it takes our DNA and releases us. Think about that. They're terraforming, they're building cities everywhere, roads and all kind of things, as above, so below, and that's how I think your mind has to work. But anyway, let's start right here.
We do the same today. And this community in America brought the technologies that are emerging.
Hang on. This is retired General Steve Kwast. Listen between the lines. He can't tell you what he needs to tell you, but listen between the sentences.
And the strategies that are emerging internationally and domestically to this administration. And this administration said, build a Space Force. But the reason space is so powerful.
Hang on. And by build a Space Force, he meant we have a Space Force. We built it back with Reagan. We took $21 trillion from the people, didn't tell them anything. We stole the Nikola Tesla technology, found some UFOs, created a Space Force, and now we got to tell the people about it. So let's tell the people about our Space Force. The same way they do a stealth fighter. Stealth fighter, they didn't tell you about until they were ready to kill people with it. And that's when we were told about the stealth fighter.
Is not that it's just has a military application like a machine gun. It's because it will transform the four major engines of economic growth.
Economics.
That have been consistent throughout mankind. Transportation, information, manufacturing, and probably most important, the ability to deliver that transportation and information with energy. Energy.
I didn't know he was going to say that right then, but it kind of worked out. Energy. Energy. Keep in mind, the Nikola Tesla documents, they've still redacted, it was 11%, and that's only the notes that they've actually released. The Nikola Tesla said a very long time ago, energy was free, but they stopped that. They needed to meter it. Why? Because they needed you working. They needed a slave force to continue to build, because that's how capital works in capitalism. You have to have forced labor slaves who will keep working. Most people just want to be free. They want to make love and make babies and stay at home, watch TV, play some video games in their drawers, be in virtual reality. That's just what we do. Personally, I don't think anything's wrong with that. I think the greater foul, though, is forcing human beings to be damn cattle. Energy. It has always been free. Sister, who was that? Rebecca Christina. We're talking about it this morning, right? What would the world be like if Nikola Tesla and Einstein, who pretty much built the whole damn world you see, they had some help? There are probably about a dozen people or so who also helped out with some really powerful technologies that ended up in everything. What would your world be if Nikola Tesla wasn't strapped to the shackle of capital? What would the world be like now if we as a species were sentient enough? We weren't still playing Alpha 8, fighting over bananas, hitting each other with sticks and rocks. Nationally, geopolitically, and politically, and racially, and religion. What if we at that point said, you know what, it is a priority for our species to make sure we take technology and we free human beings from suffering? What if we actually prioritized our priorities as a human race? Not as whatever little ignorant thing you were born as, but as a human race. What if we gave Nikola Tesla all the resources that we had? What would the world be like today? It would have started with free energy. It would have started back then in the 1940s where we are today, them finally admitting to you that free energy is real. But they need to keep you working. We wouldn't even recognize this world. What if we gave Einstein all the resources? What if we were actually grown-up adults instead of alpha monkeys fighting over bananas? I played a good video this morning. I posted. You should watch it. What is the name of that video? Something about the biology of understanding the alpha male. You need to watch it. You need to study yourself, people. Study your earlier ancestors. I won't go through the detail. It was a great video to kind of explain some of the nuances. I'll post the link. But when they're studying the apes, what they see in us. And they hit Bush pretty good on that one. They hit Bush pretty good. But we're carrying forward this monkeyism, this 98% conflictism, this violence, this alpha male. And an interesting thing I'll say on that before I keep going into the energy part, is see the chimps over time. I love evolution. I love how things evolved. I don't think the evolution theory is exactly right, but I love how we're evolving, right? Because we figured out a rock. We could get a rock, and we knew if we beat the other monkey in the head with the rock, we could steal his bananas or resources or land or women or children, whatever we wanted to steal. And we took the stick. We realized we hit him with a stick, you might have the same effect, but the rock, you can get him from a distance. They're just tools. Because you could also use a stick to go inside of that log and get some of them delicious ants and grubs and stuff, pull them out and eat them. You could use a rock for breaking open the log to get to the grubs with the stick. So these are all just tools. There's no bad technology, there's tools, but they've evolved. We still use them for violence to rob each other when we can be using them to eat. Right? Sticks and rocks became robots and automation. We can use these things to murder each other and keep playing monkey games, or we can use technology to feed each other and evolve and become something great. There's a whole lot there, and there's just so much in my head right now. We were talking about dreams this morning. You know, everything the human race has dreamed, everything we've conceived, we've achieved, every dream has come true. And Graham Hancock was talking this morning, a lecture I was listening to. He was talking about how in ancient times the dreamers were revered, right? You were a shaman if you were a dreamer. You were a chief. You had a vision. You were something great. But today, how do you abuse someone? How do you insult them? You say they're a dreamer. You're a dreamer. And how we de-evolved as monkeys for this banana thing. Now we hate dreamers. You know, and I think that when we have more dreamers, more positive things happen. Why do we not have so many dreamers anymore? Because everybody's locked in nightmares. Not everybody, but too many. Right? Out of 7 billion people on the planet, if that number is true, only a certain percentage are dreaming up beautiful things, not only in technology, but in sociology and things for us as a species. But we're locked into conflict. We're locked into monkey tribalism conflicts. And so most people aren't having dreams at night. They're having nightmares because they're stressed out. And this is what we have to resolve with the technology. Anyway, all right, I'm done. I'm done with that. I'll let him get back to it. Energy. See, I find it highly interesting that he's talking about energy. And if you read between the lines, not just the 3RB patent from 2004, 2010 told you that they have free energy, but he basically tells you we have free energy. We have it. It's how the world works. We are slaves to gravity. He who develops free energy can free all the people. But if they can convince you to be happy slaves, slap happy because the Russians are trying to get you, or the Chinese are trying to get you, or the terrorists are trying to get you, or the aliens are trying to get you, you can keep everybody going to work. Remember, everything is about economics, power, and control.
The seed corn of all development, all growth, all survival, energy. So energy, transportation, information, and manufacturing, these are the things that change humanity, that will change world power, and they are descending upon us in ways that are very unique.
Very unique.
The technology is on the engineering benches today, but most Americans and most in Congress have not had time to really look deeply at what's going on here.
No.
But I've had the benefit of 33 years of studying and becoming friends with these engineers and these scientists. This technology can be built today with technology that is not developmental to deliver any human being from any place on planet Earth to any other place in less than an hour.
It's not developmental. We have this technology today. We can deliver anybody anywhere on the planet within an hour. It's not developmental, meaning we developed it. We don't talk about it. Why? Because we're figuring out how to murder people with it. We're figuring out how to use it for war and keep global conflict and keep people in scarce situations so you can drive them as a species like cattle. Listen, I'm saying you gotta listen between the lines. And no, Boof, I ain't no damn life coach. Always coming with the jokes. No, I'm not. Listen, I'm an unlife coach. I'm telling you what not to do. Let's not do this anymore. Rape, killing, murder, war, disease, famine, viruses, pharmaceutical, synthetic drugs. All of this is a bad idea. I'm an unlife coach. These are things we shouldn't be doing. But this is where we are psychologically.
To deliver Wi-Fi from space, where you never need a cell tower to connect. To deliver energy from space, where you never have to plug your phone in and it trickle charges, and you can use that energy over time.
It's not your tech. You stole it from a dead man, okay? And you stopped him from developing it while he was alive. Not you, not this brother. Who is this? Steve Kwast, not him. He's indoctrinated like all of us. Him, and you look at him, because people, I've got to say something real quick. Because I posted something. So he was born where he was. People are looking at him and they're like, yeah, he's a colonizer. And I say that half the time. Yeah, he is. He's a colonizer. So am I. I thrive on what he thrives on. I was born where he was born. I was taught the things he was taught. The only difference is he's thriving at colonization globally. He's thriving at this debt economic system where I'm not. Me kind of by choice, I decided when I was a couple years ago that I didn't want to do this anymore. I wasn't interested in maximizing income, that I realized that income came from the blood of babies and children and land that they've stolen. That we didn't have to go this way. So, but listen to what he's saying. He's telling you your real world, but you gotta listen.
It can be applied to cars, to houses. The technology of Edison and Tesla that we live with in our energy environment, our paradigm today, is expensive, it's dangerous, and it's wasteful.
Did you hear that? That bastard. I know. All right, hang on. Courtney said, damn you, Steve. Yeah, damn you, Steve, on that one. See how he took Nikola Tesla technology, and now we're saying, yeah, the Tesla technology is crap and it's inefficient. Literally, we stopped Tesla from developing what he was trying to develop, and now we're blaming him for the world. He built the whole damn world. But this is the game that they play. They play on words.
Plug it into the wall, but yet that's what we all do because we are used to paradigms.
Mm-hmm.
The power of space will change world power forever. And it doesn't have to be a big country to do it. It could be a small island country, let's say New Zealand. Because the technology, if optimized, can change world power, and there's nothing you can do if you don't have that power. And you don't need to
And this is why they're scared.
Be near a city or near a cell tower, because you're delivering it from a network in space that can deliver it to every human being. And that we can manufacture things in space using the vacuum and zero-G to not only do research medically, but to build facilities and structures in ways we could have never done before and deliver them as light as a feather anywhere on planet Earth for pennies on the dollar of transportation costs in a linear sea, land, and air friction environment. And whenever humanity has a new marketplace like this, if there is not some guardian force that brings predictability to that economic marketplace.
And by new, he means almost 100 years old, and he's just telling you about it now because China's starting to step up their game, and they made it to the other side of the moon. Another thing I want you to focus on is why I call this guardian of idiocracy. Because throughout his speech, if you listen to it, he said guardian, I counted about 8 times. Guardian, 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 guardian of the galaxy, guardian of the, we need a guardian to control and keep things going because everything is about control. And this particular guardian wants you to go to work. This particular guardian wants to be a plantation owner full of slaves, but so does China and so does Russia. They want to be guardians. But it's funny when you say the word guardian, like what do you envision? When he says guardian to me, I envision angels guarding us. I get back to the question the guy asked me. Do you think Space Force is an anti-terrorist unit? Do you think that things have been coming here since the beginning of time, and every ancient culture in times where the vast majority of their populations couldn't even read, invested heavily in towers and temples and structures, writing things down everywhere they could, and what survived thousands of years later still had enough of it to tell us that something was always coming here. They're an anti-terrorist unit. But they build this anti-terrorist unit, these guardians. They want to be in control of everything, keeping us in conflict with one another. At the highest levels, all the governments they all believe one simple thing: you are not them. Somebody has to be a guardian. You have to keep this pyramid-shaped control of the world with people on the bottom. They agree with that. They agree with them being Russian and you being American and them being China, but they don't agree with equality. They do not agree at all with freeing the human race by taking free energy and giving it to the people, which is why I think this speech came in this desperate type of approach that they have. Is they need you to be scared. They need your fear. They need you to be scared of Russia. They need you to be scared of China. They need you to push your congressman, which is what he'll tell you later, into agreeing that 21 trillion is enough. They need a lot more money. And they need you to be a slap-happy slave and agreeing with building out into space, keeping global conflict, taking violence into space, taking the monkey into space, taking the alpha male into space, instead of extincting it and creating equality and using this technology to end human suffering.
Violence ensues. Pirates, thieves, and thugs steal what good men and women build.
I like that sentence. Pirates, thieves, and thugs steal what good people develop. And who is the world's #1 pirate, thief, and thug, stealing everything everybody's got? Pridefully, like they built it themselves. They didn't steal everything from their land to all the technology and minerals from all over Africa, all over Latin America. That's us. All the oil, that's us. He's talking about us. But once again, you being born here, you have to have a sense of pride in the Rothschild flag, not a sense of pride in your neighbors, not a sense of pride in your land. That's why I say the patriots are lost. He's speaking to the patriots, the people who think they're patriots, who are worshiping a flag and a pledge of allegiance, not a people and a land and a species. And when you actually work together, you can accomplish more than having a pyramid shape because you want to keep a king or a lord at the top.
And it's just a part of human nature. And that will not change. So as we look to these new markets and we see Elon Musk building a starship that will be able to launch from anywhere and go anywhere in less than an hour with massive volume and weight.
It scares the hell out.
And he throws up 12,000 satellites that will bring you Wi-Fi from space, where you will laugh at your descendants or your fathers and mothers that had to rely on cell towers or see the little circle of death waiting for signal. They will laugh and scoff at that. They will laugh and scoff that you had to put fuel into your tank in your car or plug into a wall because your phone was running out of juice in the airports. The lines waiting for the outlet are no more. We get trapped in these paradigms. But yet, just like Germany was competition for the airplane, the tank, and the nuclear weapon, that we eventually won, but at great cost, China is our competition. Russia is our competition. They see the power of the economy of space in these 4 sectors, and they are rushing to that future. And there is no guardian force in America, but there is in China.
Guardian force.
China has already built the organization and has the strategy and the doctrine, the technology, and the builders for their guardian force of space. They are building a navy in space with the equivalent of battleships and destroyers that will be able to maneuver and kill and communicate with dominance. And we are not.
No, we're not.
Now,
we.
This analogy might help clarify the picture, going back to my original comment of what's really going on here.
What's really going on here? What's really going on? I think Christine is right. She's saying he wants us to know about it and he has good intentions. And I think that's true because he's saying way too much. Way too much. Way too much. I think there are people inside of these I know that there are people inside of that world that's trying to let us know, but we got to connect the dots. They can't connect the dots. It's not their job. In fact, they're paid not to connect the dots. They're paid to put the information out there, but they can say a little too much to help you to stitch it together. But you have to be intellectual enough. You have to be critical thinking enough. You have to have the ability to structure together what he's actually saying. And I agree. What's really going on? Why do we really need a guardian Space Force as we go to guardian? Let me hustle through this. There are a couple other things I want to get to.
Competition is not about making better satellites or even having a constellation of satellites. When you see China on the far side of the moon mapping today the minerals and the resources so that they can eventually have infrastructure to build and 3D print and have a manufacturing industry in space, what you are watching is the equivalent of us sitting here on our continental United States. Let's say we're in Miami and we're looking out over the wide open ocean. That ocean is deep space. The orbit around the Earth is the shoreline where the waves are crashing. The deep water is space. And there is a continent out there 3 times the size of Africa.
Funny that you mentioned Africa. You know how we stole all the resources from over there?
That's the moon. And nobody lives there. It's only 3 days away. It has massive amounts of everything that Mother Earth has, to include water on the South Pole in the craters, greater than the Great Lakes as far as volume.
Economics.
And China is racing with ships on that open ocean to that great, open, desolate place that can be turned into resources and blessing for a marketplace. And they're doing it not just to get the resources, but to tap into the trillion-dollar markets on planet Earth. Imagine what you could do if you could sell technology to somebody from China and deliver Wi-Fi. And once you've built the infrastructure in space, you can deliver it for pennies.
You see, process how he's going back in time. He's giving you an analogy of colonization, going over the seas, discovering the new land. And whoever goes over the seas has safety. They discover the new land. They get the minerals. They tap into the markets, which is what Italy and Britain did, right? Colonization, the Dutch. This is what we're doing. Why? To bring back, because we have an East India company that's willing to pay for it. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, real global power. Whoever makes it to the moon and starts bringing back the resources faster, they get on top. They get to be the nation that sits right underneath the crown of the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. These greedy bastards. There's always a greedy bastard, Tony. There's always someone who's in control of this, right? And so they just want to be in control of it. See, but the problem you have with China is China, they're not a police state. America's a police state. They're not a police state. But China, they're a communistic country, right? They've got people who are going to work hard to and give everything they got for their nation. Unfortunately, Americans, not so much. You know, this is why it's crazy that you want to be in conflict with China. He's trying to scare you into it, but it's crazy that you're going along with it. See, in order for America to have what China has, it means that not only do you get to stay in the police state, but you have to become more communistic. Like, you have to become even more of a forced labor slave, which is what they want. And that's not really communism. It's because communism never existed. It's never really even happened. But this is the discussion that we got into with 5G not only 5 minutes ago, where we got to beat China to 5G. Well, if you have 5G, and the only implementations of it in the real world is controlling boar populations and controlling people, we know it causes all kind of medical problems, and they're forcing it out. Well, if you've got people within a 5G system, if you've got cows and cattle within a fence, you control them, you own them. They will work and they won't stop. It's not like they even respect your Bill of Rights anymore. It's not like they respect your Constitution. And that's why I can't get down with the whole Patriot thing. But this trying to race China at building a slave nation to get more resources for chemical companies and banks and big corporations to be the outperforming plantation of the planet. Is that really what you want? Actually, isn't what I want, but to keep listening.
Electricity.
Economics.
Where your satellite dish doesn't just get direct TV now, it gets energy. that supplies your Chinese batteries and capacitors as they're building.
Did you hear that? He just told you about free energy again. He just told you again. A satellite where your satellite dish is collecting energy and Wi-Fi from space. They're beaming it down to you. See, the only reason that they're allowing you to even know about this now is they found a way to meter it. See, Tesla didn't want to do that. Tesla wanted to just broadcast it so everybody has it. Now we have technology where we can meter it, which means we can keep you working. We can keep you stressed. We can keep you paying at your satellite dish for every drop in penny kilowatt that you get from the satellites we're beaming energy from. They're trying to keep the slave plantation going. They're trying to keep you picking. That's why you can't take what they say and run with it in the narrative they give you. You have to take what they say and figure out, how does the next generation live freer of more suffering, drudgery, forced labor, and gain more liberty, not less. They don't want you to have less. And it's not him, and it's not them. There's no them. It's just a system that doesn't work because it's based in enslaving the human race. We're almost getting there. A few more clips I want to listen to.
To get radio waves from space that give you that energy over time. They will tap into those trillion-dollar markets as they have in the past, as we have in the past, and fund their ecosystem, their economy, their marketplace in cislunar space, which is basically the distance between the Earth and the Moon and beyond.
And a translation means that they can get to the Rothschilds table and they can bend their population over faster, and they don't have to waste time with the Vaseline, and they can let the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and Mellons and all those 200, however many families are actually running everything, screw the hell out of their people like a slave plantation. That's what he means. You want to be the first?
But in a millisecond, that dominance of the electromagnetic spectrum can be directed energy that could paralyze any part of our power grid and freeze any military might America builds on the spot. Every carrier battle fleet is a cork in the water. Every fleet of fighters is dead on the ramp.
First of all, I don't really care about the carrier groups. I don't care about the fighters, and I don't care about the tanks. I care about the people. See, so the next thing he just admitted to you is EMF weapons. What do they call it? EMPs? Remember when EMPs, I liked the world better when EMPs were a conspiracy theory. Electromagnetic pulses. Yes, and direct energy weapons. He's admitting up to it. He's telling that we can direct EMF and do these things they said they couldn't do. And they're doing it. So they're admitting up to it. But so for me, it's about the people. Why? Because we've said before, World War III is not what you think. You're not going to watch World War III on InstaChat. You're not going to see it on Instagram and Facebook. You're not going to be, oh, look, World War III is happening. It's not going to be like any other war we fought before. When World War III starts, when these Democrats, this DNC and GOP, the tops, not the lower guys, but the ones on the top, when they finally get what they want for these defense contractors and get that World War III going, all you're going to see is the lights go out. That's it. You're going to see the lights go out. You're not going to notice World War III. The lights are just going to go out and they're not going to come back on. Food trucks going to stop running. They're not going to start. You're going to turn on your tap. Water ain't going to come out. That's going to be World War III. Why? Because you can't beat America's military. You can't do it. It's impossible. You're not going to beat them. But what you can do is you can beat the people. And that's why the World War III is not going to be waged against the American military. It's not going to be your proud soldiers out fighting for you. Nope, they're just going to kill the people. All they got to do is do an EMP and shut the power off. They don't have to have an EMP. They can just have a terrorist group, cells. I guarantee you that there are cells operating inside of every modern nation right now, and they know how to shut off their power grid. In America, all they got to do is take out, 3 substations, and that's it? Roving blackouts for the next 10 years before they can replace it. All they got to do is shut the power off, and within 1 year, the last statistic I saw, 90% of the American population will be dead within a year. So any nation that you get in conflict with, China, Russia, any of them that you're stupid enough to agree with their government in terms of murdering them and starting a conflict with them off of your soil on their soil, all they got to do is last a year. That's it. You can hold back the American military for a year. When 90% of the American population is dead, the game is over. Because they don't have a slave plantation anymore. They have nobody going to work, doing the accounting, being lawyers, making this, making that. They're shut down. They're dead. The war's over. You've beaten America. America's a third world country. You can just go ahead and wipe it out and go start sticking maps in it for China, Russia, whoever you want. World War III is going to be what you think. Right? So this is the biggest problem with them admitting they have this level of power. So what do? It's dark, it's scary. No secrets. That's it. No secrets. This ends in only two ways. It's either our way or it's their way. And by us, I mean a human race. Right? I'm not talking about him, and I'm not talking about the American government. I'm talking about this idea of power and domination, this 98% ape alpha monkey genetics that you don't seem to be able to get past and stop voting and cheering, and the violent system that needs to go away. We don't live in scarce times, we live in abundant times now. You can take the alpha monkey violentism and let it go extinct. And let's spend time in the 2% of the DNA that doesn't come from apes and chimps. It only ends two ways. One, it ends their way or our way. Their way, we continue to do this. World War III starts, they reduce the population, and they have just enough people to control the world. Because see, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, they don't hate you and they don't care about you. You're just a slave plantation. You're just a means of power and a means of propping up the system, means of money. You're just a slave. They don't hate you. They don't love you either. You're just agnostic. They can flip you for China or Russia or anybody else. They really don't care. They own your nations. They own the banks. They print the money, and they can print as much as they want. They end it their way. Or two, while America still tends to have the power, Britain still tends to have the military, Canada still tends to have the power in the military, we say that's it. We're done. We're done with alpha chimpism. We're done with violence. We're done with killing people and robbing from them. We're done with acting like global police pirates, murdering everybody while we still have the power. See, once we don't have the power, it's all over. While we got the power and we have the technology, we can colonize the world through food and houses and love and doing all that stuff Jesus told you to do. Yes, you are. Y'all remember him? The one who told you to do these things a long time ago. And now you have the ability to do it and you're not doing it. But it comes with the people. That comes from a moving consciousness and people discovering that yes, they do have these technologies. Yes, we can feed the entire world and the entire nation. If you don't want to feed the world, you can feed the entire nation. If you hate Christ and you're in church and you got your Bible, you really don't want to do what he tells you to do, you can still feed just your nation. But I think it'll have the same result. You feed all the Americans and they stop having nightmares at night, the stress goes away, they stop having forced labor, they start developing that consciousness and sixth sense, and they start developing empathy again. See, in abundant times, empathy kicks in. That's why I want you to watch that video on apes explaining ape psychology, right? Because the older apes, when they get old, the alpha males that tend to be bigger and stronger, that they can rule, they actually hand the crown to another alpha male. They don't want it. They have the strength, they can kill that ape anytime they want, but they hand it on. They start developing empathy, which is a very scary thing. They start standing up for the meek, not murdering the meek and stealing their oil, not murdering them and stealing their coltan, but they start standing up for them. The scary part about that video, the scariest thing in that whole explanation of chimp psychology is the apes are actually evolving beyond us. Their alpha males are developing empathy and compassion and equality, and they don't want to rule. They don't want to be the alpha. And I think that's an evolved alpha. Is my whole life. My whole life I wanted to be, my whole life I was an alpha. Somewhere around 18, 19, I discovered I got some secrets. I have some abilities that the poor people didn't have. My father put a computer in my hand, I could write software. I decided I wanted to be an alpha. Shoot, I could write software better than most of my professors at that particular time. Now, I didn't have certain structures, but I've been writing code since I was 5, 6 years old. I took that and I proceeded to be an alpha. I'm gonna dominate my world as best that I can and make as much money as I can and take it from the poor people. And, that's what I was doing. That's not what I thought, but it's what I was doing. But I think after a while, you spend enough time in abundance when you realize I don't have to rob people to live well. I don't really need all of that. I don't need the big house and the fast, sexy car. I don't need that crap. This is all this technology. I don't need any of it. And you evolve like the apes are and realizing I don't need to run things. I don't need to tell you. What we need is equality. And that's what the apes do. But anyway, let this finish up real quick, and then we'll just have that piece of that discussion.
Can't even turn a wheel because of our vulnerability. China has openly stated they are weaponizing everything Western civilization was built on, energy and information. And 5G is a perfect example. If you don't think they will act in a way that steals our ideas and our technology, duplicates it, and then dominates the marketplace. Take a look at 5G. Nobody 20 years ago would have ever believed that America would not have an answer to 5G when China rolled it out.
This is what it's all about.
Why didn't we have it? Well,
That's why we're talking
it's pretty
about
easy.
5G.
China invited companies like Lucent Technology, Motorola, Nortel into China with a nice package of benefits.
Okay. They're beating Americans at being American. And I don't mean apple pie America. I'm not talking about baseball and love each other and take care of the kids America. I'm talking about Rotherica. They're beating Rotherica at being Rotherica, Rothschild America. They've learned how to steal your technology and weaponize it and show the Rothschilds, not only do we have everything America has, Rotherica, but we have a slave population that's not going to stop working to beat out the Americans. And that's exactly what they've shown. And not only that, but then they have the people too. So but the issue isn't to be in conflict with China, like I said. The point is like while we still dominate, we can stop it. Right? We can end this model. The only reason the Chinese people will go along with it is because they know Americans don't give a damn about the Chinese. The only reason the Russian people go along with it because the Russians know America don't give a damn about the Russians. The Americans. You give a damn and you break this model, this Cold War model of violence and chimp activity and violence and utilizing technology to murder people, use the rocks to beat people in the head and the sticks to beat other monkeys in the head, instead of using a rock to break open the log to get the food and the stick to get the grub to feed everybody. Do you see the analogy I'm going with that? Feed the world or kill the world. Live by the sword or die by the sword. Live by the sword, die by the sword, or live and let live. That's the model of the world we need to go into. Let me skip ahead because I'm running out of time. I want you to watch the whole thing. I'll post it. But there were a lot of great points in here where he told you a lot of things about how your world actually works.
Miles an hour. We can say today we are dominant in space. But the trend lines is what you have to look at. And they will pass us in the next few years if we do not do something. And they will win this race, and then they will put roadblocks up to space. Because once you get the ultimate high ground, that strategic high ground, it's curtains for anybody trying to get to that high ground behind them.
Exactly what we did. We got to that high ground. We killed, we murdered, we robbed, raped, pillaged, we dominated and colonized. We got the high ground. We lucked up after World War II and we dominate the world. And they're scared that China or Russia's gonna do that, and they'll get that seat at that we got the best slave plantation and we're willing to murder more people than anybody else spot underneath the families that are just in power and money. That's all they want, is power and money.
Because they can apply power, maneuver, and communication at infinitesimally lower price points. And ultimately, everything is economic.
He just explained to you the petrodollar. Right? That's how that works. If you beat everybody else to the market, you set the prices and you can stop anybody else from getting into the table of the market. That's why we've murdered 5 million people since 9/11. I don't think it's 5 million, it's a lot more than that.
At the 100-year anniversary, 2049. And in the next 10 years, their energy in space with nuclear and solar power that can be beamed to the Earth for good and for bad, their ability to control gateways of 5G using space, quantum, artificial intelligence, supercomputing, to be able to shape the perception of the world and to tell any story and to lie about America or anybody else.
Don't you love that when they just tell the secrets? to be able to control the narrative and lie and tell any other story about anybody else. That's the whole mainstream media. He just explained the whole thing to you right there. How we just lie up wars and we just 22 a day. You don't have 22 veterans killing themselves every single day because we're telling the truth. They just lied it out. He just told you right there. He explained colonization and how we got to a point where we stole everybody's resources, we controlled the markets, and we lie about every damn thing. He said it, and Pompeo said it the other day too. It's just like he just told you everything. So what we got to decide, do we want to continue with this conflict-based model chimp world, or do we want to go another direction?
That is counter to their purpose. And you see how our interdependency as a world plays out when China can lie about America to all global markets and how that affects our economy and our.
It's going to affect your economy the same way. And by our economy, it's not our economy. It belongs to Rothschilds and Rockefellers and central banks, okay? The GDP has nothing to do with us. You're a poor person. They're not sharing at all. They could care less to move to another nation. So exactly, China, they're scared that China is going to become the monster you've become. But they'll be a much better monster.
Stock market. Ultimately, it is the manifestation of a long, patient plan to dominate information and energy as weapons against the West, so China's Middle Kingdom can come back.
That's it. I'm done. I'm not gonna show anymore. You can watch the whole thing. I thought this is one of the most interesting whistleblowers of our time. And he blew the whistle, but it was like a silent whistle. It's kind of like a dog whistle. It wasn't very obvious. But he, throughout the speech, got on this guardian. Do you need a guardian? Do you want a guardian that drops buildings on children? That's what you have to decide. This only ends two ways. It only ends two ways. We sure have overstepped our authority of having dominion over the earth. We have forbearance bear. We have no right to have dominion over our neighbors. We don't have right to have dominion over our children, let alone the whole damn planet. Absolutely, there need to be a guardian for earth. We need to back down from this whole concept while we still got a chance to do it, and 90% of the population isn't dead. Some people say this happens before in Atlantis, didn't it end well? Exactly, forbearance, man. That's another thing. I love people who actually read. You know how to read, do you? You got education. I don't know who that is. I said you were from Facebook. I love people who know how to read. It's fun to mental, right? And that was the whole thing with Solomon, right? And the Egyptian priests, is that we've done this before. You know, we got too high on our horse. We got too arrogant. Didn't Martin Luther King say that? to believe you are a police state of the world. I think people do come back. I think they come back spiritually somehow. Not their soul, but their spirit. That's another discussion. I'll explain that. But I think they keep coming back. The Teslas, the Einstein, the Christ conscious. I think things keep coming back trying to teach us that we're going to get wiped out. If we continue to invest in the nuances that we got from scarcity in the jungle as monkeys when we didn't have enough, if we keep those violent concepts, we're always going to get wiped out again. Absolutely. And that's why history is so important. It is so important. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Kat. Mother Earth's natural resources. Oh, key lines. Mother Earth's natural resources. Absolutely, Kat. Those are key lines. Why? Because it's a mother. It has a lot of children. Kat, we aren't the only ones, are we? We're like spoiled. We're so damn spoiled. We're like, oh yeah, it's all the oil, the coltan, the tin, the uranium. Everything belongs to us. Oh, mama got other kids who need access to the nipples. But no, we don't want that. We're gonna go kill the other children and steal the nipple land. We need to learn to colonize breasts and prevent anybody who lives on that land from getting to it. You know, that's why consciousness is so important. We have to learn to evolve as the chimps and develop empathy, and the vast majority of our populations aren't even close to that. All they see is their own little race or religion or nation. It's time to move beyond. It's time for us to catch up to the chimp world in terms of evolution. Still voting to think there's a democracy. Adding more for the same. Well, Matthew, people can't see. And that's why I'm saying we have to have these discussions and talks, because we can't see it. Most people still think they have a democracy. Most people still think they have a republic. And so you got the democracy people, the fake democracy people, democracy, and the faux public people are fighting each other because they're trying to maintain something that the Rothschilds bought back in 1871 or probably before that. You know, but it's an education thing. People have to be able to embrace that and understand that. That's why I appreciate the next comment from people like Tony Smith, who did a great video on the Federal Reserve and how it works. Share that video out. Makes me mad. We have enough for everyone. It does, Tony. Don't let it make you mad, though, because the people came from monkeys. Don't let it make you too mad, because anytime I get upset, Tony, I remind myself that we didn't came from monkeys. You know, you're only capable of something. We have people who want to keep us acting like we're in the jungle, you know, and I empathize with my monkeys. I do. I empathize because some monkeys just didn't get it. It's like the abused monkey. Y'all see that what's that monkey in the from the forest that they put in the zoo and they taught her how to smoke cigarettes? I think I got his picture somewhere. Hang on. I feel sorry for the monkey. And this is the warning on my page. This is the monkey that, they taught him how to smoke cigarettes. That's a warning on my page. That's tell people, just be careful. Be careful. And I'm getting a lot of friend advice lately. Just be careful. You need to read my page before you decide that we should be friends. You know what? I can't show you the whole thing. I hate it when this does it. Can't put it up. But anyway, the bottom of it is, be careful about my page. There's gonna be stuff you don't like, and we're gonna post it anyway. That's how it goes. We're interested in evolving and moving forward. We're not interested in getting people on our team. We want to post truthful things and have truthful discussions. But the point I was making on this one, Tony, is you got that chimp in the forest would never smoke that cigarette. You wouldn't do it. They don't have cigarettes in the forest. So even the people who are still locked in the chimp genetics, I remember they're raised in cages, right? They're raised in artificial scarcity, and they take on things that make their life better. The same way that chimp took on smoking, like the other chimp that they taught how to smoke, right? They take on things that make their life a little easier. These people in this deep state and these voters who still believe they have a democracy and they're fighting and they know that they're lying to everybody, right? They're doing it because it makes their life feel better to think that Bernie Sanders has the power to take on global power. They want to convince themselves that an actor and real estate tycoon from New York who had a reality TV show can tell the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers where to go with their nation that literally has spaceships that fly in space and free energy. They're scared. That's their cigarette. Let me see if I can find a picture, because it's if you're hopefully you're processing what I'm putting down. Hopefully it's making sense to you. Oh, that's the TR3B right there. That's the they're finally admitting up to all of this stuff. Chimps with the cigarettes. Because they take it on. You make a chimp, you put a chimp in the zoo and you make it work like an American and do flips and jump and stuff. It needs a pharmaceutical. It's gonna need an escape. And that's what the cigarette, nicotine becomes for them, what it becomes for these people. And some people it's politics. Some people it's things that make them feel good, right? It's how they get up in the morning. So we're not talking to everybody. But I feel sorry for the chimps. That was my point, Tony. That they're like, what was the name of the chimp that could walk, stand up and walk? The famous one. Let me see if I find his picture. He was the one. Was he a chimp or was he? No, he was an orangutan. It was the humanzi, right? Humanzi, is that what they called it? Look at that. Walmart came up. Did y'all see that? I didn't even type a W. I didn't put a W, an A, or L. I put human and Walmart came up. Why is that in searches, right? Because this is why we're in trouble. All right, I think it was called the humanzi. It was the ape that started looking like a human. He was walking on fours and he was abused. I mean, he was a zoo chimp. Was it called the humanzi? The zoo chimp, the abused one, right? And this is what most people are. This is what an economic system is designed to do. It's designed to make you a psychopath, to put you in the zoo, to give you forced labor. You can only choose from 32 industries or jobs that you can do, not anything that you want to do. And after you're abused, you kind of go along with it. You settle in. You start doing the lion walk. The lion in the zoo just walks in a circle. Chimps do it too. I only got a couple things I can play with. I got a ball. I can swing on the thing on the stick, or I can climb the fence. And that's all they got to do all day. It's a very sad story, but this is us. You got a pharmaceutical industry, you got drugs, you got television, animation, you got politics, where you can go cheat on your spouse or whatever you got. Like, you only got so many things that give you that joy to make you deal with the fact that you're being born in a cage and you were born a slave. So all I'm saying is, Tony's, I have empathy. I understand that these people, they're people, but they're raised as chimps, right? They're raised as chimps in a debt-based economic system that everybody hates. It won't let you be free, and so you got to take on things to make yourself feel better. And that smoking a cigarette, that's the Democratic Party. That smoking that tweed, that's the Republican Party. That religion, that's that doing that cannabis or crack and whatever. And some things a little more destructive than others. You got the cannabis, is natural, no side effects. The crack, not so much. Then some people get into crack. Military is being used, as Gerard says, to keep us in coops. In coops. I'm not sure, Cat, where are you? You're in two places? I got Cat over here and over there. Absolutely. With the see the thing, but you know what the big problem with the military, Cat, is it's made of our brothers and sisters and cousins and like other humans. That's the problem with the military, right? It's made of people like us, people who actually took an oath, people who, when they know the military is doing things we shouldn't be doing, you got 22 suicides per day, which is part of why I think, Cat, they spread the American military all out over the world. They want to bring in the UN troops, the Chinese troops, the Russian troops, anybody that doesn't look like us, because they will rule us. They can use them to police us. But you're never going to get away with using American troops to do that. American troops got grandmamas here. They got kids and daughters, and a lot of them still believe in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And some of them were old enough that they actually took civics class, and they know when we're doing things we're not supposed to be doing. So absolutely, they're using the military, and they use the military equipment against us. All the MRAPs and tanks and bombs and all that stuff comes home, and they give it to your local sheriff. Which is a good thing that the sheriffs are starting to stand up, but I don't believe the ones in Virginia. I think that's part of a fake news setup where they're going to back down at the last minute. But the sheriffs are the only elected department in policing, right? Everybody else works for the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. All right. Anyway, that's what I got. I think that they're guardians of idiocracy. It's not guardians of the galaxy. We ain't guarding the galaxy. Something else is guarding the galaxy. Something else is guarding the galaxy. And all these ancient cultures have told us from the very beginning that something came out of the sky. We should accept that that's the reality. Maybe we are a genetic colony. Maybe we're a zoo. Maybe the Earth is a zoo. And every now and then they come in and try some genetics and see if we're evolving out of this. I believe the Book of the Watchers. I don't think they left. I don't think they left nor forsake us. On all the continents they talk about this stuff. I just think that they're watching. They're phased, they're invisible. We don't see them. But they're not interacting. They're not going to save us. They've made a very stern decision that we have to save ourselves. But I think there's something there. There's something weird that I'm trying to get my finger on. I'm not sure I agree with it yet, but this whole admiralty law thing and consent. I think that there might be something with agreement in consenting to your domination and your rule. I think there might be something universal with it. I think that as long as we agree and we consent to be slaves and be governed in this way or dominated in this way, I think whatever either created this or has been interacting with us, I think they're hands off because most people go along with it. I think if a majority of people stand up in terms of consciousness for the human race to act like they're humane, I think that something might get involved. I don't think the Rapa Nui were crazy. I don't think the ancient Hawaiians were crazy. I don't think the Egyptians were crazy. I don't think the Middle Easterns were crazy when they started all these religions. I think whatever's out there isn't going to leave or forsake our species, but they'll let us kill and murder each other. They'll let us continue doing all the nonsense because they're letting us do it today. That's why I say I think we live in a hell. This is hell on earth. I can't imagine where hell is any worse than this. No matter what you can say about how bad hell is, I can show you a country and a community that lives worse than what you say hell is. We're in hell. That's what I think. Anyway, good morning, Tammy. Yo, what's going on, brother Chris? Thank you, Chris. We appreciate that. Chris says, sorry, teaching. For number one, I'm not a teacher. I'm not teaching nobody. I'm just starting a discussion. He said, I was taking a morning dookie. I'm so late. Thank you, Chris Lewis. We appreciate that, brother. Now we know. And knowing is half the battle. I don't know how to take your dookie and make it positive, but people, you need to be pooping every day. Please make sure you poop twice a day. If you don't poop twice a day, that's a bad thing, especially if you eat meat. It's all decaying and rotting inside of you and turning into things. That was part of what made me a vegetarian. When I started looking at the studies, like, wait a minute, you eat meat and some meat stays in your stomach for 3 months? And I started picturing what meat looks like, behind the counter for 1 week. But it's in my warm 98.6 degree body in my intestines for 3 months. I know, eat your meat. I don't tell nobody not to eat meat. I don't say, if you're healthy, keep doing that. If you have issues with rotting meat in your gut, you might want to slow down a little bit. Or make sure you get enough fiber to push all that stuff through. Good morning, Don. All right. Furious forgot the subject. Furious, I don't even know the subject, my damn self. I don't even know how this came up. I was thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy, the Linda Moulton Howe quote about how something's been harvesting genetics here on the planet Earth and terraforming for 270 million years. Put those two together with the deep state guy trying to be a whistleblower and telling us about they're trying to be guardians and how that affiliation with angels and sort of title came out of that. But the topic, what would that topic be? I guess that topic would be, you're grown. You don't need a guardian angel. You're grown, you're an adult. You can put your pants on by yourself. You don't need nobody changing your diaper. You don't need anybody telling what you can and can't do. And you don't sure need to be in conflict with people in China because they happen to be born in a different place than you. That's the name of the title. Guardians of the Idiocracy. Maybe it should be Guardians of the Monkeys. I don't know. They're trying to keep a zoo. And but the funny thing is they're telling us. They literally just laid it right out there. I want you to watch the whole thing. Anyway, good morning. Let me see. Creating a society. This part where we're wiped out. We are wiped out. If creating a society, if parts were wiped out. Well, they wipe out all the good stuff, Matthew. They always wipe out the things that make people want to be free and love each other and empathy and all that. They remove all that with politics. They remove all that because that's dangerous. That's terrorism. That's why they kill the Martin Luther Kings and why they kill anybody who speaks up and tries to bring people together. As long as you're willing to divide up and fight other people, you're good to go. You prop up this guardian system. The system of being the first to bend the knee to whoever controls world domination. So absolutely, they wipe out our good stuff. Every time they colonize, they delete anything that worked. If it works, they delete it. We still do that today with the CIA. If there's any Latin American governments who actually establish some sort of a free system and give the resources back to the people and try to share instead of lock it in for corporations and control by government or central management, we blow them up. We destabilize them. We throw them out. That's why people walk up here in mass human migration, because they don't have free countries. We destroy anything that's good. That's why this whole Satan thing, I don't know what Satan is, but there are dark energies on this planet that are very real. That is evil at the core. That you would topple dozens of countries' governments. Confessions of an Economic Hitman is a book you need to read. But you would topple dozens of countries full of little girls and little boys and human beings with their little fingers and their little feet, and they're just born. They just want to live on the planet and be free. But you would topple them to maintain U.S. hegemony dominance over an entire continent. These little girls can't even walk to school without getting raped by gangs of men multiple times, just trying to get to school. And finally, the father gives up, grabs the wife and the kids and says, we're going to walk to America. We're going to go find a safe land to live in, because obviously the CIA is not going to stop toppling our nations. And your only response is to build a damn wall. That's why we may not make it, people. We can't get outside of this. The meek shall inherit the earth. And to be honest with you, what's today? February 13th, 2020. I'm ready for the meek to take it right now. God, wherever you are. God, aliens, Buddha, Shiva, all y'all get together, talk to Jesus. Y'all come down, Allah, get together and go ahead and wipe out world power. And let the meek have the earth right now. I'm actually ready to go right now, y'all. I'll be honest with y'all. I mean, I love life. I do. But in reality, when you really start to look at what we've done around this world, oh, hell no, I'm ready to go right now. I'm good with Old Testament God. Anytime you can bring the lightning bolts, go ahead and bring them down. I'm on nature's side. Like I said, let me say that another way. I'm on evolving nature's side. I'm not on the monkey side. I'm not on the ape genetics of keeping violence and murdering the weak because you got a bigger rock and a bigger stick than what they have. I'm ready right now. Go ahead and give the world to the children of Yemen. I'm good to go. Go ahead, bring them on the avian supervirus. Oh, what was the name of that show? There was a great show on TV a long time ago called Jeremiah. It's not on show anymore. The dude from the Cosbys was on there. You're not supposed to say Cosby. Shut up. We made Cosby. We bought his records and laughed at his shows, and we gave him all the money and power he needs to be at the top and be a guardian of women. See how that worked out? How'd that turn out? Making guardians. Anyway. Theo was on the show. It was called Jeremiah. It was a plague that came out of some flu, and all the adults died. Everybody over the age of 19 died. I'm ready for that. Good. I think that's a great no, hang on. I think my son is 23. Can we start at 23? I'm good. No, I got somebody that's 24. Okay, well, you know what? How about we grow up and act like adults? How about we grow up and act like monkeys? How about we become sentient and start looking out for each other with technology instead of racing with China and keeping the murder paradigm popular? How about we do that? Ever. Yes, for sure, very dark energies. Yeah, Norma, there's some sort of dark energy. I don't care if people call it Satan, whatever they call it. There's something like that. Cannot scapegoat the dark. The dark does not impose its will. The light does. I agree with that, Conan. I agree with that. I think that we are okay with the dark. I think we like the dark. I think that we promote the dark. I think we consent to the dark. And as long as we do, the Watchers, right? That book of the Bible, or the Bible doesn't exist. All right. Millions of scriptures, ancient people saw some things, wrote it down. A couple people put into a group the book and they call it the Bible. Bible doesn't exist. But there was a book that was in that collection of scriptures. The vast majority burned up in the Library of Alexandria. So we know we only got part of the story. And they documented what they saw at the time based on their understanding and technology at the time. So I don't think they even understood it. But anyway, the Book of the Watchers. I think they're just watching, Conan. I think they're just watching. I think we can choose light or darkness. And we're given that choice. And I think the world economic powers, those who control these economic systems and debt, know when we're in struggles with each other, we always choose darkness. Anytime you have a monkey in a cage, you leave a rock and a stick, one banana, it's another monkey. The first monkey to that rock and stick will beat the hell out the other monkey. And that's what we're doing, unfortunately, right now. So it's time for people in the Western governments to actually, not in the Western governments, but people to actually stand up. It's time for the people to actually start speaking about the priorities of the human race. Not the government. The government can't fit. The government is literally a system. Once you take that job, you're going to do what the system requires, and the system requires war. I don't care. Tony did a great video yesterday on Bernie Sanders, and he keeps coming up, only because that's where most of my friends reside. I think most of my friends are Bernie exiters, but they're cults, right? From the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the cult followings. You got cult personalities and cult parties, and they're all cults. They're all cults in keeping this paradigm of violence alive and thriving. And that's a mistake. That's the system. This system can only be fixed by the people. Governments can't fix themselves. That's not how the system works. The system was designed to grow in power, not fix itself. The people have to fix it. And that's where mass dissent comes in. That's where walk away comes in. You gotta walk away. It's not that not voting helps. It's just you're not being complicit with dark energy. Because that's what it is. We consent to the dark energy. We can be a light, but we've decided to just crash all the flashlights. All right. Have you seen the natural energy grid ley lines of the Earth and the satellite grids around the Earth? Question mark. They're disrupting Earth's natural frequencies. They launched 20,000 new satellites for 5G. Well, we're dominators, Susan. We destroy nature. We destroy nature everywhere we go, from our house in a new development to the nations and other nations. We destroy things. We don't stop and think about it. I love technology, but I'm all about the sustainable use of technology. Like we talked about yesterday, the Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, whatever. I believe in sustainability from a real sustainable perspective, the Venus Project type perspective, right? You're building ecosystems for humans to live in, and the rabbits, the monkeys, the bears, everybody can live around them, because we actually don't have to build houses that destroy the ecosystem. We just do it because we're stupid, right? We can build houses on stilts. We can use these levitation graphs from that T3RB patent. We can use that Tesla technology. We don't need roads to destroy ecosystems. We can fix all of that. We can all live in forest homes on stilts and have levitation craft that take off from there and take you to work if that's what you want to do, or take you to Walmart. That's where you need to go. I just don't think Walmart should exist. But we don't have to destroy the ecosystem. We consent to it. We consent to the dark energy that's murdered 99.99% of all life on this planet since we've been here. We consent to all of that. We've destroyed everything around us, and we look at government, we blame them, and the problem isn't them. It's not them. They're a system. They don't exist. We are the only thing that exists. Right? Government, like money, it's a fantasy system. It's a fallacy. It doesn't even exist. It has no power beyond what we give it, which is why consciousness is the way. You got to love your neighbor more than your cult and psychopaths in government. Government can't fix itself from within. Only people can fix it from without. I think we're all born to be the caretakers of this planet. It was clearly a gift. I think so, Kat, and we need to become caretakers. People need to understand what care is. Caring for the meek, caring for those. You got two hands, you already got everything you need in one hand. Use your other hand to help other people. Don't use the other hand to create a Pentagon and murder them and steal what they have so you can have all the resources in there. We don't need guardians. We We don't need guardians. Trying to figure out what to replace it. We don't need guardians. We just need humans. That's it. We just need humane humans. We need humans that prioritize the priorities of Earth life. And that really is to take on Earth's greatest foe. And that's a model of government. That's systems. It's this model of having guardians at the top, a pyramid structure, and keeping everything else down. Because as bad as the humans are at the bottom of that pyramid, the ones in prison, enslaved, and ghettos and burials, and those who are doing the least that we think we're better than because they just happen to be born in the wrong location, those people, the people in Yemen, under them are all the animals. All the animals, the bugs, the bees, the birds, the things that provide for our ecosystem for us to even get to live. It is a psychopathic system where everybody to the top of that pyramid is gonna die if we keep the system. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. All right. Too many people are afraid of their true nature, so they replace it with the artificial. Artificially creates things they could become. That's creepy. Someone just fell over there. I don't know who did that. Oh yeah, I know who did. Never mind. I believe in ghosts, y'all. I think ghosts are, I think they're watchers. I was thinking for a minute one of the watchers knocked over that blind. Nah, it wasn't the watchers. That was just the wind. I'll be honest with you. It's like, oh, he was live streaming and the ghost knocked something over and he heard it. It's the watchers. They're watching him. No, I wish I could say that. Nope. It's windy outside and pushed the plastic. And the thing, that's what that noise was. Anyway, Tony's knowledge is deep. It is deep, Lori, which is why Tony's being censored. Tony's being attacked by the Green Party. Tony's being shut down. Half the time my live streams, I come here, Lori, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm like, you know what, is this gonna work or not? You press the button. Anytime I seem to have like a really good topic, something that I really wanna do, it doesn't work. It gets banned or blocked. Or people say the notices don't go out. Like, do you think, like another thing, Lori, you remember we used to do this? We used to have 100 people here. Ain't no 100 people here. I got 30 on Facebook, and there are about 10 or so over on YouTube last time I looked. Where are the hundreds of people? It should be thousands of people here by now. But they're regulating live streaming. Like I have friends who are starting out live streaming. You know, you hit that 20 or 30 max, that's all you get. You know, if they don't block people, shadow ban, not send out notifications, or just turn off the voice. Like Tony's right there. I joined Tony's yesterday. It was no sound. I went out, came back in, there's still no sound. Went out, came back in, no sound. Like they literally do things to make sure that if you have a message that's alternative to power domination and 98% monkey keep the violent systemism, they make sure that you don't get a big voice. Which to a degree I'm kind of okay with. I'm kind of okay with that. Because in a way, Facebook is helping us. Because I can't do this. This is not my thing to do. It's not Tony's thing to do. It's not Chris's thing to do. It's y'all's thing to do. It's not ours. I don't want to be big. Did y'all know what happened to Debbie Lusignan? Not that anything bad physically happened to her, but they came for that woman. They shut her down. You don't get to be big. You know, Julian Assange, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton. Anybody who says get together and work with people, Malcolm X. At the beginning of his life, he was a racist bastard, and mind you, he was raised in a system to become one. But in the end, he figured it out, and he's like, hey, we need to work with white people, and then they killed him. That's simple. That's how it works. And it was the Nation of Islam that did it, and that's why I'm saying you can't trust color. You're a fool if you're trusting skin. You're a literal fool. Right? These people will gut you along with everybody else. Because just how America wants to be China being the world's butt kisser of the Rothschilds and Rockefellers' economic system, world central banking, so do the people at the top of your race. They don't care about you. They just care about your power. They just want you to be a blind worshiper. These pastors and ministers, not all of them, there are a whole lot of them, I think, who really believe in the message, but the vast majority are psychopathic. They just want to be at the top. They want you to be beneath them and them at the top. That's the dangers about having a system that doesn't cherish equality in human life. We need resource-based economies, people. Plenty of great systems out there. We're just not utilizing them. It's not a dark message. It's a real message. We can fix the problem. Now we got free energy, and your government's admitted that. We can take that and utilize that to solve all problems. We're not doing it. Good morning, Maki. I'm about to go, y'all. Harvey, John, Lori. I just want to make sure I get comments from everybody. This was meant to be a quick one because I got to urinate. I'm sorry, I got to go. I don't keep no secrets from none of my people. I tell y'all exactly the way it goes. Good morning, Vern. I drank a lot of water this morning and I actually had a smoothie too with my coffee. Why? Because I don't want the cuckoo virus. I do not want the cuckoo virus and people starting to cough around me. And I don't know. I ain't sure. It's a time when y'all could just look and say, oh, they look like he came from China. You don't know who has the cuckoo virus. I don't believe my government's going to tell me the truth when the cuckoo virus gets here. I don't think it's going to tell. Do you think yours will? That's a good question. The same thing with the whole Guardians of the Idiocracy. If aliens were coming here and doing terrorist acts, grabbing Americans out of their houses and taking them up in UFOs and playing with them and sending them back, would your government tell you? Like, yeah, the government would tell me. CNN would tell me, and MSN, they let me know. Do they tell you about when ISIS does it? Think about it logically. When ISIS is planning an attack here, do they tell you? You know they knew about 9/11. Outside of whoever you think did it, doesn't really matter. They knew about it a long time ago. They ain't tell nobody. They ain't tell nobody. And you think they're gonna tell you about some damn aliens? Y'all trip me out. All right, anyway. So I'm not gonna tell you about the cuckoo virus. When it comes here, people they know exactly 32 people in the United States have cuckoo virus in it. No, they're not gonna tell you that. They're gonna run for their bunkers. When they get to their government continuity bunkers and they got their masks and Tamiflu and all that, when they're good to go, then they're gonna tell you about it. But by then it's gonna be too late. It's gonna be percolating in your lungs. So that's why I gotta pee. I said all that I gotta pee because I've been drinking my smoothies. I gotta get my immune. I gotta keep my immune. I was telling my son last night, brother, you need to drink your water. You need to drink your water because kids, they come to school and they cough and they get them boogers and wipe their hands. And I'm gonna tell you a secret, nobody washes their hands. They don't wash them when they're babies and they damn sure don't wash them when they grow up. Something about not washing hands that people don't seem to, I don't care what you do in your own bathroom. But in a public restroom, you're supposed to wash your hands because we all got to touch the door. All right, anyway, Afghanistan drones. Okay, well, comments are rolling. Let's make sure I get comments by everybody. I'm gonna get out of here. Woo! Otherwise, y'all gonna see me pee on camera, and that's why y'all are here right now. Like, I ain't stupid. The only reason people watch live streams because blinds like that fall on the floor, and I had that mosquito attack me that time, and people want to see you pee on yourself, trip and fall. That's the only reason why people watch live streams. I had somebody look at my Bernie live stream. Who did that? Who posted? Ivana did that. Posted my Bernie live stream. That one was fun back in the day. And of course, the Bernie people were not going to like that one. And of course, I guess her friend was a Bernie person. The one I was a troll sitting on Bernie's shoulder. And she was like, you didn't even edit. This is horrible. Horrible editing. This is not funny at all. And I was like, yeah, I know it's not funny to you. Anytime the joke is on your guardian, it's not funny. And I'm just like, it's funny to me because your guardian murders people. He literally took paychecks to drop bombs on children. So no, it's funny to me. And two, this is live. This is not edited. None of this is, this is not orchestrated. The only reason people here because they want to see me trip and fall. They want to see the laptop fall. They want to see the police come to the door, knock and arrest me. That's the only reason why people are here. That's why, because it's live. Or they want to see me pee on myself, which is why I got to go. I told someone to read all the Confessions of Economic Hitmen. She told me it's a lie. Ooh, some prefer to believe a lie. Who said that? Christina, Rebecca? I don't know. I mix y'all together. They're kind of like my mamas. I look Christina and Rebecca. They got that deep thought. And they always make me think about stuff. It just rolled up, so I forgot who said that. Yeah, well, people don't want to know. They don't want to know. They don't want to know. They don't care. They don't want to know. The problem with knowing, like we talked about yesterday, when people know it's true, it means they got to change their behavior. And they don't want to change their behavior. So I get it. Like I said, they're like the abused monkey in the thing. Let me find, where's my abused monkey picture? Like every time, let me see if I can find one. Here we go. I remember, what is his name? Oh, this is Edinburgh. He's a new one. Edinburgh, look at Edinburgh. This is what your friend is right there. Post a video and tag her. Who's that, Sandra? That's another mama. I got all kind of mamas. That's Sandra, she's my other mama. She always send me stuff to think about too. Right here. This is the problem with your friend, Rebecca or Christine. I'm gonna call you Rebecca Steen. This is the problem with your friend, is that they're abused. And abused monkeys don't want to know what's true. They just want to smoke their cigarettes. They're beaten, they're battered, they're scarred. And I kind of get that. Like I tell people, read the Wars of Racket, read Confessions of Economic Hitman. Like, do the things to educate yourself. Understand that Trump does not run the United States of America. Please understand that. But also accept neither did Obama. They did what they were told. He's doing what he's told. Bernie gonna do what he's told. Like, grow up and accept that. But with the people who don't, I'm like, that's okay. That's all right. Like, I get it. I almost posted the other day. And I'll probably post it today. Is, you know what? I tell you not to vote, but you vote. I'm not gonna be upset with you. Like, I get it. I get it. Everybody's got to have their hope, and if that's your hope, then that's what you got to do. I watch Star Trek and Stargate and fun. That's my sci-fi escape. I do what I need to do to get away and make it manageable. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We all gonna die together. But all you can do, Rebecca Steen, is you just post what's true. Post what's true. When they're ready, they'll embrace it. Right? When people are ready, they'll embrace it. But we can't be derelict of duty and not give them the information. So I'm all about, let's give them the information, and when they're ready, they'll get to it. Hey, K-Dot, what's going on, James? Who wants to join and visit the Venus Project in Florida? I do, Christine. We're gonna do a GoFundMe for tickets for Gerard. So you can fly first class to Florida. No, I don't fly in first class. That might be fun. We might put that on the list. Y'all wanna do that? Y'all wanna take some road trips? I ain't gonna do it. I talk about it. I ain't gonna no, because 34 people were here and 10 people, that's like 50 people. That might be murder. That might be murder limits. I don't know what the murder limits are. I don't want to get Bob Marley foot cancer. Going down to Florida. Yeah, we can go to Florida, visit the Venus Project. It ain't gonna go that way. It starts that way. It's like it's all happy and stuff. We do like a tailgate party. It's not going in that way. Y'all see the Venus Project? It's a real place. You should go there though, everybody. Everybody go there. If I go, I'm gonna have to like show up and like just pop up. Brother Fresco in Florida. What's it look like? Well, they built a mock one. They built a mock one. If I go, I'll just like show up and I'll like get out of there before the foot cancer and the cuckoo virus gets sprayed on everybody. Is that her name, Justine? I think her name is Justine. Where is she at? With Jack Fresco. She started with him. She's still running it. You want to be a part of a solution? You can give up your membership to the DNC and the GOP, and please support the Venus Project. They're in different countries. So is the Zeitgeist movement. So is the Ubuntu movement. Whatever resource-based economy movement you have going on in your nation, you need to be a part of it. I'm a part of mine. I don't go to none of the meetings. I'm a part of mine. I don't go to the meetings. But sharing with people, right? The idea of taking capital out of the system and making the staple of the system the human being, right? Making the staple, the reason the system exists is the next generation, right? Cultivating human minds, cultivating human life, not robbing each other and lying and hiding technology and keeping them scared and in zoos, whipping them with debt so they keep going the direction you want them to go. But if I go, I'll just show up. I'm not gonna make it a plan. No, the world don't work this way. No, they have police lined up all the way to Florida. Not the good ones. Most of them good ones. No, they had the abused one. They just had the one who was just done wrong. The one y'all was cussing out and protesting against, and that'd be they get all them lined up on 95. Make sure they grab me. No, I don't need to be. Nope. I'm safe at home. I'm safe at home. I know my police. I love them to death. They love me. We know each other. We work together. No, I ain't messing with y'all police on y'all roads. My police are not on YouTube beating up poor people. They're not doing that. Yours are. Anyway, good morning, Trish. Let me see. Cat's trying to get under the murder. You go run, G. I'm about to run. I am about to run. Hey, Chris, good morning. Yeah, it's all BS. It all is. Tony, good morning. Lord Dina, both fun, right? $5,000 can bring Jill Stein to a town near you. I'm sure it can, Matthew, and I love Jill Stein to death. Jill Stein just did it, because it's not about Bernie. I was in the Green Party until I really understood how power works in this world. Right? Power doesn't care about my emotions. It doesn't care about what I want. It doesn't care about what the American people want. That's not how America works. And Jill Stein doesn't have a military, and she doesn't have trillions of dollars. There's nothing she can do about this paradigm. Nothing. Only we can do it. So it doesn't really matter. That's why I say I don't tell people not to vote. I don't think that they really care. I don't think they even know who your presidents are, who are running. I don't think they care. They just write the check. Who we writing a check to? Okay, well, America, they're getting a sense about themselves. They're starting to evolve, getting some consciousness, and they don't want to be in war anymore. They want to stop. They realize their economy's not built on their pride and strength and working together. It's built on colonization and murder and robbing and stealing from the meekest people on the planet, God's children. Okay, they don't want to do it no more? That's fine. We'll go to Russia. Or go to China. It doesn't, because China wants to. We've been doing this so long. You have nations that are lined up. They can't wait to serve and bend the knee to the world powers that run things, these central banks. So they don't really care whether, here's why if we grow up, we need to grow up quickly. We want to be adults, we need to we got to go quick with it. While we still got the military, we still got the power and the domination, but Jill Stein doesn't have any of that. She doesn't have that. You know, I think Jill would make a great president, a fantastic president, only because she'd get in office, she'd do the same thing that Bernie's doing. It's the same thing that Obama did, the same thing that Trump is doing. Because that's how power and money works. Okay? That's how power and money works. And besides, if they don't want Jill running, they won't even count the vote. They don't have to count. They don't have to count the votes. People we live still in the country, they're like, you have to count the votes. They don't have to count the votes. They are a corporation. That's why we did the Act of 1871. They're a corporation. Your vote is a suggestion to them. You don't have to look at gerrymandering. You don't have to talk about the electoral college. You can ignore all of that. They're a United States corporation. It is a corporation. They don't have to do any of that. Everything that you want is a suggestion, right? Like cannabis, suggestion. We got freedom to grow our medicine. No, you don't. They didn't have to honor it. They didn't honor it. Police. We talk about police all the time. The police state, they're like, yeah, the cops are racist. No, they're not. They're just doing a job for biscuits, like everybody else. Okay, you know, can a cop be racist? Oh, sure they can be, but that's not going to change. Yeah. So I tried to explain this the other day. All right. I'm not even sure how I explained it the other day. It's just so hard to say some of these things because people, it's hard for them to when you live in a police state, don't worry about the police. You know why? Because the police didn't make the state. They didn't write the laws, right? So this whole Black Lives Matter thing, White Lives Matter, and Blue Lives Matter, if you live in a police state, nobody matters. You understand that? And they're not changing it. All the politicians that are yelling Blue Lives Matter, are they changing the law so the people don't hate the police? No. All the politicians yell Black Lives Matter. Are they changing the laws so the police don't have to carry guns and shoot the people before the people can draw on the police because they hate the people? Back and forth, there's a war on citizens that's happening. And none of them are changing the laws because they don't care. White Lives Matter. You see the Republicans who are supposed to be fixing this, so the White Lives Matter. You see the politicians that yelling White Lives Matter. Do you see them actually changing any laws? No, because none of your lives matter. That's how a police state works. You don't have to worry about it. You don't matter. And even if you get a politician who wants you to matter, they're not allowed to change the law. That's not how this world works. All right? So anyway, that's the whole point. I gotta go. I do have to go before you see a trinkle on the laptop and you bzz, bzz, bzz. What happened? Good G done peed on the television. That video go viral too. Like, oh yeah, there's a guy on the internet, he's talking about say the word, a lot of people, he peed on his laptop. I know, people get old, they can't control it. All right, I gotta go. I literally cannot stay in a dark bathroom and look in the mirror at all. Why can't you do that, Megs? Oh, because you believe in ghosts. Well, ghosts are real. I just think they're multi-dimensional phase, something that we don't understand. Everybody act like they understand. I don't think they understand. They've been seeing ghosts since the beginning of time. Something is there. You just need to hope that you got the good ghosts. I guarantee. Who said that? Megs? I forgot. I got a ghost in my house. I know I got a ghost in my house. Now, I told the story a long time ago. I don't have time to tell it right now. But he's a good ghost. He's a good ghost. You can have people, you can have psychopaths. Ooh, let's do that analogy. We're always going to have psychopaths. They'll always be with us because it's a part of that monkey genetics and the warrior gene and how we develop. We're always going to have them. You can have psychopaths that are doctors that are like literally trying to save your life, that'll get up at 3 a.m. in the morning because you were in a car accident and save your life. Want a doctor who will stay up all night reading and learning and going to all the conferences and everything they can to figure out how to fix your disease. That's a psychopath. You can have that. Psychopath doesn't mean violent. We can have good psychopaths or we can have bad ones. We can have good ghosts or we can have bad ones. It's really just up to us. You know, when people die and they die miserably, that spirit, that energy does something in that mirror and that sofa and that couch, whatever, in that house, and you buy the house and you don't understand it, somehow it imprinted. How about no more violence? How about we raise people with the things that they need so they don't die miserably and have to come back and haunt you later. Everything is a choice. Like we was talking about Conan earlier. Everything is a consent. Everything's about consent. We consent to having dark thriving in our world because of these violent systems. then that's what we're going to get. Paul Hellyer told us. Yes, he did, Patricia. Paul Hellyer was the whistleblower, the Prime Minister of Canada, the Defense Minister. And he told you, oh, there's UFOs everywhere. They're everywhere. You know, do I think he knew everything? No, I don't. But he said the stuff up there that we don't know what it is. So either it was America or Russia, anti-gravity, whatever. But he was vindicated. He was vindicated by the patent for the TR-3B. Good morning, Jay Hill. Let me see. Christine, start a business in mask. Might be successful. That's earlier up. I don't know what that's related to. Let me see. KGH is right. You go over 200 views, they shadow ban. You get, let me see. You get you more than 50 listeners, they shadow ban. You get more than 50 shares, they shadow ban. Right, and that's how it works, Tony. Is they control Facebook that way. They control alternative voices that way. They try calling them racist, and they try calling them this, and they try calling them pseudoscience. They tried it with every alt community that they've tried. And so now shadow banning is the thing that works. But I'm okay with it, Tony. I think it's because we can't have a Tony with 5,000 views, because then all they got to do is give Tony foot cancer, and that's it. You can't have one Bob Marley. You can't have one Martin Luther King. Everybody has to do it. And I like this model. No masters, no followers. No leaders, no followers. Nobody needs to lead anymore. You know, but we need more people to stand up. You can deal with 50 Americans, 50 Chris Hedges, or someone like saying honest and truthful things, 50 Jacques Frescoes, 50 Mark. You can deal with 50. You can't deal with 5 billion. You can't deal with millions. Millions of people are saying, no, we're done. We're not going to talk about climate change. We're going to talk about free energy. Right? You said climate change is caused by fossil fuel. Why is there a damn UFO flying using anti-gravity devices? Why did you release a patent for the TR-3B and you got free energy and you're complaining about fossil fuel? When you have enough people who can like speak for themselves and speak strong like a Tony, then you don't have no problem. When you got people who just follow and they don't do their research and they don't have a link and they don't understand, then yeah, they'll get beaten down. But when you have strong people who know the facts and who can talk about 1871, then you got fixed. When you got people who, I was on some YouTube thread not too long ago. I said, hey, yeah, because we're the colonizers. I had the intent to come back and say, we haven't colonized in 200 years. And I wanted to say something. I just decided not to. And I took the right approach. I took the high road like Ivana was talking about yesterday. I said, no, we need to read Confessions of Economic Ignorance. We never stop colonizing. It's called debt colonization. Please educate yourself and keep moving. But we need everybody to be able to do that. We don't need any big names anymore. Big people are central points of failure. We don't need central points of failure. 2 political parties are central points in failure. Banks can buy that very easy. Pharmaceutical companies, defense companies, they can buy that easy. They can corrupt the system easy. We need a system. We need, in America, 340 million people here. You need 340 million political parties. That's not corruptible. 340 million people here. You need 340 million religions. Right? You need 340 million races. When you have that, then you got equality, then you got total freedom. As long as you got A, you're gonna have B. The existence of A, if you are this, if you are black, you can say, well, it's just about pride, but no, it's not. It means that B is gonna have to fight you because now they're scared of you because you're grouping up, so they're gonna group up, and that's just how that works. You have to grow up. You have to stop being a monkey that sees fur. No, you don't have to, I'm sorry. No, you don't have to. We all gonna die. But it's up to us. Gerard is right. We can't trust anybody, even the people who sometimes we assume are totally legit. No, Lordina, you can't. You cannot. Lordina Garcia, please, and do not trust me. Do not, you're going to get me killed. Do not trust me. Don't trust Tony. Don't trust Chris. Don't trust Todd. Don't trust any of these people. When you trust people and you follow them blindly, then that's how they know how to control you. They'll go to that person, they'll take their little kitty cat and hang it over a fire. And then that person's going to do whatever they're told to do. That's how this world works. Good morning, Robin. Interesting. And Bernie tried it, but he failed. I'm going to get that to the Berniers. Bernie tried that, but he failed. He said, hey, listen, I'm going to go. And Obama tried it too. He said, listen, I'm going to go fight. And if I ever say vote for Hillary, then you know that I'm corrupt. He said something to that effect. And only half the Bernie people heard him. Well, it wasn't half, probably 10%. Most of my friends, they heard him. They're like, oh, okay. So if you go and say the establishment, then that means they got to you. I get that. You're supposed to listen and go with that. But some people don't want to they don't want to process what he said. They're blindly following. So whatever leverage they got over him, they're using. That's how this works. It's called leverage. Leverage. They can get leverage over anybody, but they can't get leverage over everybody. That's why you can't trust nobody. That's the only way if you like me, you won't trust me. That's the only way you keep me safe, right? When I start saying, get out there and vote, stop watching, stop sharing, stop liking, then they know they can't use me to get to you. Because they can get to me. I'm not stupid. I ain't dumb. They can get to anybody. I like to say, oh, I'm tough. I'm an alpha. I can deal with it. Hey, listen, you can do anything you want to me. I really don't care. You know, I'm here to help my family out. And I got 7 billion people I need to help out. But I got people I love and who I care for. Am I willing to sacrifice them too? I don't know. You might want to go vote for Bernie, Trump 2020. You know, they can get to anybody, people. You know, we survive as an ecosystem. We got to get past this whole guardians of the idiocracy stuff. America doesn't need to be the guardian of space, neither does Space Force. All right. And nobody needs to be the guardian of you. You be your own guardian. Grow up, be an adult, pull your pants up, and change your own diaper. All right. Let me get out of here. This music so I can run, because I got the pie. Chris took care of it before he got here. I did not. People will fight for their excuses. Yes, they will. They will fight you blue in the face because they're abused monkeys, and that's what abused monkeys do. You just have to accept that that's who they are and give them the information and give them time. I think if you give them the information and you give them time, it can work over time. That's what you're planting a seed. Seeds do that. Over time, they cultivate and they root and they come up. And then I'm planting seeds right now. And that's a good analogy. Not all the seeds root when I want them to, but most of them do. And that's all you can do. You plant the seed, make sure it's fertilized. You fertilize it, give it water, some sun, and that's not staying up on them, not yelling and screaming and cussing at them. That's not my way. Let it cultivate. Just tell them the truthful thing. And in time they say, oh, you know what? That Beaufort is pretty smart. He's a decent guy. You know what? He does do his research. He told me this a while ago. Yeah, he doesn't seem like somebody that would lie to me. He seems pretty genuine. That's cultivating the seed. Let it cultivate. Don't stay up on him, being pressured, aggressive, taking that Bible and beating them over the head. You ain't saving nobody that way. People who get saved when getting beat over the head by your Bibles because you're an evangelist. I used to do that, y'all. I'm gonna tell you, I used to beat y'all over the head like nobody got saved who was doing that. People would join the church just to get you to shut up. That's what they'll do. Oh, I joined the church. I did join the church. Not just your church. It's another church. It's down the street. It's another town. Oh, I'm in church because they just want you to shut up. Praise the Lord. Praise Jesus. Don't beat people over the head with resource-based economy. Tell them how it works. Let them go do their own research. Same thing with 1871, all of that. Give them the information and cultivate it. Be the decent person and let it cultivate. But if you keep fighting them in social media, well, fighting meaning arguing, then no, they're not going to look because they hate you. And then the truth is the opposite of whatever you say because they just hate you and they'll spend the whole time waiting for you to be wrong. I got a whole list of people doing that. I got a whole list of people, they just watch me. They can't wait for me. Watching right now. I know this you. There's one of them right there, right now. He's just watching. Oh, see something wrong. Oh, see something wrong. Because they want to thrive on that profit, that disaster cap. He's misspoke. I'm going to get him. You know, good luck. Good luck. Good luck on that one. I got friends that kept me honest for a little while. I was pretty good at this game in corporate America. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty decent at it now. I slip up like everybody else. But there are people who will wait to come after you just because they hate you. And everybody's got somebody that hates them. That's just how it goes. All right. Does Rebecca Stein have a monster? Yeah, Rebecca Stein. Yep, she's got a monster. She's got, it was somewhere between a shark and a cat and Buddha. It'd be like a really fat shark that could swim, but it's a cat. Put those together. Anyway, good morning, Steven. Let me see. What's that, Megs? I just don't want my death prolonged if possible. Pull the plug. Yeah, it would be nice to go quick. I'm gonna post this video. I need y'all to watch it. Tell me what you think. I've seen it 3 times. I only pulled out a few things I shared with you guys. It's retired General Stephen Kwast. He's like a whistleblower who he's saying things between the cracks, and that's the only way we'll get information, you know. And I think he's an honest guy, and I think he says some very amazing things. But we have to process it as people and try to look between the cracks of what he's not saying. So there's a link right there on Facebook, and here is the link on YouTube. Definitely educate yourself. The things that aren't prominent, look at. the videos that aren't prominent, like this gentleman in this video, pay attention to and watch them. Read between the cracks. Use your common sense. Use your reason. There you go. Posted it there, and I'll put it in the description. Oh, there we go. I'm really not into posting doom or posting gloom and doom because I don't find it helps me or anyone. Well, Susan, you're in that space and you got to do what you got to do. I post doom and gloom because children have to deal with doomy and gloomy things. So I'll never stop. To me, it's a beautiful thing when we shine light on the people who are hurting the most. And in between, I do jokes. Like I said, that's just how I work. I can't be me if I don't talk about, the fact that women don't have rights in any country anywhere on this planet. Not equal rights. I don't feel that I'll be me. I don't feel that I'll be me if I can't talk about, people who don't have a voice. So to me, it's not doom and gloom. It's just being honest about how the world is so we can have real discussions, so we can solve very real problems, not living in a fantasy world. I live in a fun world. I have a whole lot of fun, but I don't want to have fun in fantasy. I want to have fun in reality. And hopefully this will go the right way, but it'll never go the right way if we don't speak up for people that we need to speak up for. I don't think that's doom and gloom. I think it's just reality. We live in dark times, and those times are going to get darker unless we speak up for them. Which is what your politicians don't do. That's why they don't talk about free energy. They don't talk about UFOs. They don't talk about anything that they don't talk about consciousness. They don't talk about work together with the other nations. Nope, they want to rob and steal and kill and keep all that 98% monkey violence stuff alive. The only thing we can control is ourselves. Yes, absolutely. We project what we focus on. Consider the secular wisdom of the serenity prayer. Find your peace and let go of everything else. Absolutely, Kevin. Absolutely. And everyone's got to find their own peace. Susan will find her peace, and Megs will find her peace, and Patricia and Lori. And don't judge anybody for how they find their peace and where they're at. Nobody should be at where you are. Like if you watch one of my videos like, yeah, I want to be at where he's at. Don't do that. It's not going to work for you. I don't even know where I'm at. You need to be in your space, in your shoes, doing the best you can where you are right now, and beat you yesterday. Don't worry about anybody else. I want to know as much as Tony. You don't know Tony. Tony might not have a life. Who knows what kind of oppression and scarcity Tony deals with to be able to read that damn much. You don't know. I want to know what Chris knows. Do you really want to go to jail? Do you really? You want to know everything that brother knows? That brother's doing videos because he's trying to teach you what he went through and what his perception in life is about. Yeah, of course you're going to say things you don't like. That's okay. Take that information and do something with it, but don't try to be where they are, because to be where somebody else is at, you got to go through what they go through. Like this nonsense where people say, oh, well, women say rape and it wasn't really raping. This is true. This is very true. But is it like really worth not taking them seriously? Not taking someone seriously who says that? Like, you've never been a woman if you're not a woman. You don't know what they're going through. Like, why would you even step into a spot where you would be so judgmental that you would say that, oh, well, most women, blah, 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 blah. How about you've never been there before, you were born inside of a man, you have a bigger structure, people most likely wouldn't try to rape you in an alley. How about we just, hey, let's find out what's true. Don't jump on the woman's side or the man's side when that happens. People go through experiences. Another one, be transgender. You still got people out here fighting transgender. Like, what is wrong with you people? Like, I love you to death, but I don't understand how your brain works. You're lucky, right? You were born in a man's body and you have a man's psychology. Some people weren't. You know how horrible and evil it would be to be born a man, but you have the psychology more of a feminine in a world where it oppresses you if you're not? You should, if anything, feel more empathy for the meek. Remember Jesus said that? Yes, you were Christ, brother. You should be standing up for the meek, not preying on them. And in that kind of way, that's like invading Yemen and stealing what they got. Finding the weakest person you can, the person that's got other things, struggle and trials and things that they're dealing with, and just beating down on them because it makes you feel good. That's that cigarette. That's that, where the monkey at? Where the monkey with the cigarette at? A lot of people abuse others and they try to silence them because that's that cigarette. You know, report them on Facebook and YouTube because you say things that don't fit with your narrative in life. That's that cigarette. That's that abused monkey cigarette. You're the same way. They do they, you know what? I wonder if they teach monkeys how to smoke just because they know that they abuse them into that. That's that cigarette. Let me find that cigarette. Monkey with the cigarette. Visuals. I like visuals. You never know what anyone's been through. You never know what anyone's been through. You know, but everybody's abused. I accept that. I accept everybody's abused. So I have no judgments for anybody. You know, stop puffing on that cigarette, and also remember that other people have to puff on that cigarette. Running sound of water. Thank you, Patricia. That helps. Lori's a good psycho, and you got to be. Lori, don't you? You're a nurse. Don't you do You do hospice. You got to be psycho. To do hospice, oh my gosh, you got to be psycho. A beautiful psycho. To be able to turn off all of the stuff that makes you cry and sad and blah, 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 to take a human being and usher them into the next existence. It is the most beautiful thing to be psychopathic enough to help somebody into the next life without getting all, I don't want to be there because they did. You know, it's a beautiful thing. My neighbor is a hospice nurse, amazing. And some of them just, they don't have that ability. They turn into monsters and they mistreat people in their last days. So what kind of psychos do y'all want? Do you want beautiful psychos, giving love, utilizing their ability with those warrior genes to save you from a car accident, to usher you into the next life, to do beautiful things in times and places we can't? People who shovel manure are psychopaths to me, because I can't do that. I can't even drive past a skunk. I was driving this morning, I can't even smell that. I'm sensitive to smells. I can't do it. I put the windows up, close, hold my breath, do anything I can, speed up. You know, but, oh no, it's dialysis. That's what it is, dialysis. But to work with any sick people, I think you have to. You absolutely have to. You have to be psycho to be able, but utilize it for positive things. You got psycho engineers who are I used to be on that spectrum when I was a software engineer. When I got to solving a problem, I could work all night. I could work without sleep, work through, throw some more coffee down, and then eventually get like an hour, 30 minutes sleep, get up, go to work the next day. Those are the traits. We can turn them on and off. And a lot of people in the military are. They turn them on to go do a job and come back and send them to that place in, where's it, Alabama, where they deprogram the soldiers. They probably do it everywhere now with all the PTSD they're creating. All right, yeah, I am going. I'm about to go. Get down. I'm just about to miss any comments by anybody. There go Trish. What is it? I'm gonna send my youngest to hang with Furious George for the day. She's my creepiest child by far. Then you're sending them to the right place, Trish. Ty is creepy. Ty is a little creepy, a little bit. Ty is a little. Well, Ty is free. That's the problem with Ty, Trish. Ty is free. Ty don't get too dead. That's why Ty is creepy, because Ty is free and Ty does Ty. Ty doesn't fit in. I don't think he fits in this world anywhere, which is a beautiful thing. And he can live free. He can express himself and go. And I think it gets to him too. Like it gets to anybody. I wish I could be that free to be creepy. I'm only weird. I'm only on that. You're like, your friend Gerard is weird. Yeah, he is. He's trying to be free. He's not going to be free. Good people. Good people. There was a wise saying, you have to go along to get along. I think governments took that one too far. Ooh, go on, Joanne. Absolutely. They sell out. They've sold out. They've succeeded at what we do. They succeeded at that apathy. Go along to get along. They don't want to change anything, and their jobs don't let them change anything. Hell yeah, Ty's an alien. Who said that? Ty alien as hell. There ain't no way Ty from this planet. Real talk. I think he left. Ty ain't from this planet, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all. It's a couple of them. Ty, Stacy, Susan. It's a couple of them. I believe aliens. I know aliens are watching right now. I don't know if they're in the room, phased out, or if they're on Facebook. Some of these people are just in tap with some things I don't understand. I'm not gonna call all the aliens out, but there's a bunch of them here. I don't think y'all from. I think y'all pretending to be from here because you just like got a book or something. You writing some books about it, and I think that's what the Voynich manuscript was. Y'all remember the Voynich manuscript? I think that was one of them. That's probably Ty left a book. That was the Voynich manuscript. That's the manuscript that nobody. We looked at this a long time ago. It's the manuscript that nobody was able to decipher, written in a language that doesn't exist. drew plants and different kind of roots and tubers and healing methods and stuff. I think one of them aliens was here and left us. They didn't drop their notebook. They had to go real quick. They got a phone call, somebody text them or something. They had to get in the ship and get the hell out of here. And they dropped the book, the 1-inch manuscript. Look it up. I think that's the thing. Educate, elevate, evolve, empower leads to enlightenment. Yes, it does. Absolutely, Sandra. And empathy, patience, all that good stuff. I know many who are sick for many different reasons. Yes, Susan, there's many physically sick and mentally sick. And a lot of the illness is driven by government, power and greed. All right, yes, I am still talking. Lori, I gotta go. Hey, Tammy, I'm getting down to the bottom. I'm almost there. Light melts demons. Yes, Patricia, turn on the light everywhere you can go. We can heal the world. It starts with us. It does, Norma. It absolutely does. And it begins with the end of that tribalism nonsense. Stop grouping up against people. You are a people. Love is a new year. Fix the relationships. Absolutely, Matthew. We need to have good relationships with everyone. Matthew, I got people that don't like me. For the most part, I try to heal a relationship and sever it in a way that we still can be cordial. And that's what we really got to do. But then again, that's scripture, isn't it? That's more of that scripture stuff that everybody is. He's a psychopath. Yeah, but there's some scriptures in that you need to read. One, that we need to be peacemakers, not peacekeepers. That was one thing I remember about being in the church, a book by Ken Sandy called, I think it's called Peacekeeper. No, it's called Peacemaker. Right, that explanation that you're not here to keep the peace. Monkeys keep the peace. Slugs keep the peace. Boogers keep things peaceful. Yeah, no, you're supposed to be a peacemaker. You're supposed to go out and find people who have problems with you and try to solve that problem. And not everybody's gonna let you do that, but if you do the best you can, you leave it in a way to let you know, hey, I got nothing against you. We just oil and water, and but heal that relationship. And that's planting a good seed. That allows a seed to cultivate. We need to cultivate more seeds and burn things up. Good morning, Desiree. Gotta get going. And it's not a competition. No, Megs, nothing's a competition because nobody's actually equal. Everybody's different. They got different legs, appendages, muscles, brain muscles, thoughts, problems, pains, aggressions, gender preferences. Everybody's different. There is no competition. You beat nobody at nothing is a good way to say it, Megs. You actually can't beat nobody at nothing because it's always an apple and orange competition. So why are you trying to beat people in a place where everything is so different? There is no real equal competition. So don't be in competition. Work as a collective, but an equal collective, a sovereign collective, not that 2130 agenda nonsense where we're all collective working for a king or a lord or bankers who want to run everything, but you're all individual sovereigns, but a collective in a matrix. Someday soon, can we all discuss on how we can utilize sustainable resources in everyday life? Joanne, we do that every day. I only touch on it because it's a lot. Well, there's a lot to it, right? But I take it from a technological perspective. We have to live more sustainable. We got to do sustainable things. So we kind of whittle that in the message. Save your seeds, plant, have a little bit of a garden, eat healthy things, drink your smoothie, avoid okra at all chances that you get. Make some jokes, make things sustainable. Don't tap into that cigarette, whatever your high is that's destructive. Don't do it so much that you're destructive in life. Live sustainable. If it can't be sustained, then don't partake in it. It's unsustainable. It'll come to an end. If you don't have a choice, because all you got is oil at the time, then all you got is oil at the time. But when somebody makes a car that's electric, like Nikola Tesla, whoever that dude did in 1910, then you should start using electric cars because they're more sustainable. We didn't do that because we had capital and greed. We cheered Standard Oil and the Rockefeller. So this is where we are today. But we know how things went in history. We can now change that in the future. People got their minds on people's genitals, Lord. That's not nice. Everybody should have your own minds on your own genitals, unless it's your other person. The other person, then y'all can share some genitals. But other than that, you stay out of everybody else's genitals. Doesn't matter what's going on with other people. You worry about you. You broke as hell. That's how I view it, Lord. Like, I'm broke as hell. I'm broken. I'm trying to find spirituality and fix this and love and become a better person. I really don't have time for anybody else's testicles and genitals, vaginas, anuses, and all that stuff. I ain't got time for that. I don't care what you do with yours. I need to figure me out. Oh, by the way, Lori, you need to go to Florida. What's the place, the Villages? I was talking to somebody yesterday about the Villages. It's not as pretty as people think. Apparently, well, the Village is the biggest retirement community in the world. And I just found out yesterday that apparently they have the biggest collection of neural diseases in the world. Unsustainability. We created a GMO synthetic thing called Viagra to turn people back on when they're supposed to be turned off. Now they're getting turned back on. And apparently STDs is flying all over that city. Got the old people just riding in little carts. And apparently they got their genitals out too. Think about everybody else's genitals. Their husband died, their wife died, now they turned into little freaks. Spreading that stuff everywhere. That's it. We need some nurses down there, apparently. Is it Valentine's Day? That's tomorrow. Absolutely. It's Valentine's Day. Everybody get your love. Get your love on. All right. Now I really got to pee. I got everybody. Got comment by most everybody I can see. The comments that they show me. I can't see all of them. Okay. Thanks. I'll watch it. Thank you, Forbearance Bear. Go ahead and watch that. Watch the whole video about the general and tell me what you think. But read between the lines. Read between the lines and post what you think. And share it with your friends. All right, boom, 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 boom. I gotta go. I'm from the Pleiadians. Is that Christine from the Pleiadians? I find it interesting where people talk about they're from the Pleiadian. I'd love to know more about, oh no. Pleiadian. I don't know what the Pleiadian is. All right. Last words. Love is what will save the human race. Lordina got the last word. Love is all that's going to save the human race. I like to say it a slightly different way, Lordina. No matter what the problem is, love is always the answer. Always, always, always. Love is always the answer. Y'all have a great day. This is Gerard. The question doesn't matter. The answer is always love. Look at this. He's trying to get professional. Uh-oh, the video's not playing. Look at the monkeys. Y'all see the monkeys? How come the video's not playing? Hold on. I'm trying to have a professional wrap-up. Supposed to have monkeys. They're not doing nothing. Monkeys, y'all supposed to move. Oh, hang on. Don't go nowhere yet. Y'all gotta watch the end. Y'all watch the end. Here we go. Come on, monkeys. Y'all supposed to be moving now. There you go. Come on, you can do it. There you go. That's the end. The wrap up. Sound team. Gerard Kenyatta, hey. The writer, Gerard Kenyatta, hey. The producer, Gerard Kenyatta, hey. The director, Gerard Kenyatta, hey. Playing the part of Gerard Kenyatta, hey, is that idiot. That is foolish monkey. Gerard Kenyatta, hey. All right, that's not the right music. Dang it. I had some great other music I had to play. Anyway. So this is going to be the final wrap up. We go through the clips and the comments by friends of Gerard Kenyatta, hey, with nothing else more important to do in life than to sit here and try to save the planet. And it wraps up and they're going to end in a little clip like this once I get the final piece of music together. And I'm trying to get professional, y'all. You know, Earth will be fine without humans. Why force it to be? And it's supposed to be a video that's playing on that one. But doing it live, nothing works how it's supposed to. That's why people watch live videos. Oh, I wanted you to actually see this one. Nope, it's not going to play it. But that's what happens. You get deep state, you know, they start destroying stuff. Actually, I wanted to play. This actually was a nice one. Dang it. There you go. There you go. Look at that. I just need a good voiceover. Maybe I can find somebody from the UK or something like,
Earth will be fine.
oh, damn it, that's my German one.
Earth will be fine without human beings, but why force it?
You got this the Ferris wheel swinging around, give you that image of children and life without people. That, you know, we can do beautiful things on this planet, but we got to start being beautiful people. The worst things will happen. Anyway, it's Gerard. I gotta go. Y'all have a wonderful day. Is it Thursday? Happy Thursday. Love y'all to death now.